If you decide to watch till the end, you'll understand why. I've never believed in ghosts. Not in haunted houses, not in mirrors, not in curses. But after what happened last week, I can't look at a mirror after 3 a.m. It started when I moved into a cheap rented room in an old Victorian house. The landlady was kind, an older woman who lived downstairs. She had a few strange rules: no loud music, no smoking, and never touch the antique mirror in the hallway. It was tall, framed in dark wood, covered most of the time by a faded lace sheet. When I asked about it, she just said, "That mirror should only reflect the living." I laughed, thought it was one of those superstitions old people love. The first few nights were normal, quiet, too quiet maybe. The kind where every creak feels like it's listening. On the fourth night, I noticed something strange. When I passed the mirror on my way to the bathroom, my reflection seemed slower, like it lagged a fraction of a second behind me. I brushed it off, probably the dim light, maybe I was just tired. But the next night it happened again. I lifted my hand and for a blink my reflection didn't follow. Then when it finally moved, it smiled. I didn't. It wasn't a big grin, just a twitch at the corner of the mouth, but it froze me where I stood. The light flickered once, and when I blinked, everything looked normal again. I tried to laugh it off, but something in me wouldn't relax. I even took out my phone and filmed the mirror. On the video, nothing strange. No smile, no delay. Just me, staring at my own tired face. The next morning, I told the landlady. She went pale and said, "If it ever moves before you do, don't stand there, don't wait, just leave." That night, I couldn't resist testing it again. Around 3:12 a.m., I walked to the mirror, phone camera ready. The hallway was dead quiet. When I looked, my reflection was already there, facing me still, waiting, but I wasn't even in front of it yet. I froze mid-step. Then the reflection raised its hand, slowly, palm open, and touched the inside of the glass. I heard a faint hollow tap like knuckles against the other side. And this time, when I blinked, my reflection didn't disappear. It smiled again, wider. I didn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that grin. Wrong, human-shaped, but not mine. The next morning, I checked the hallway again. The mirror was covered. The landlady must have noticed it uncovered and fixed it. I wanted to ask her about it, but she wasn't home. The whole house felt heavier, like the air itself was watching. By nightfall, I had convinced myself I imagined everything. Sleep deprivation, stress. That's what I told myself. Until the tapping started. 3 slow knocks from the hallway. Then silence. Then 3 more. I grabbed my phone flashlight and stepped out. The house was pitch black. The lace cover on the mirror was gone. The glass shimmered faintly in the dark like it was breathing with me. I took one cautious step closer. My reflection was there, perfectly still, except for its eyes. They weren't following mine. They were staring past me. And then I realized it wasn't copying my breathing either. The reflection exhaled, fogging up the glass from the inside. I stumbled back. My flashlight flickered, and for half a second I saw something standing behind the reflection, a shadow that didn't match the shape of my room. Then I heard whispering, not from the hallway and from inside the glass. It sounded like my name, not spoken, breathed. I ran to my room and slammed the door. I didn't sleep, didn't move until sunrise. When I finally opened the door, the hallway was empty again. The mirror was once more covered. The landlady was in the kitchen. When I asked her who uncovered the mirror, she looked at me for a long time, then said quietly, "You should go, before it learns your name properly." She told me the mirror wasn't a normal one. It was found, not bought. A previous tenant had brought it home from an estate sale, a mansion where every resident had disappeared in one night. When the police entered, every mirror in the house was shattered, except one, the same one now hanging in our hallway. I wanted to leave that day, but something, curiosity, maybe arrogance, kept me there. I needed proof. That night I set up my phone camera facing the mirror and hit record. Then I went to bed. At 3:23 a.m., the camera caught movement. The mirror cover slid off by itself. Then, my reflection stepped closer. Even though I was still asleep, it leaned toward the camera and whispered something. When I checked the footage in the morning, I almost dropped my phone. It said my name. I left my phone on the table, screen frozen on the final frame. My reflection's lips were still parted, whispering my name, my exact voice only deeper. The timestamp read 3:23 a.m. I didn't remember waking up, didn't remember standing. But on the video, a faint shadow passed the camera right after the whisper, heading toward my room. I replayed it again and again until I noticed something worse. The mirror behind my sleeping body was still reflecting the hallway, but there was no reflection of me in it. I wasn't there. That evening, I went straight to the hallway and tore the cover down. The mirror's surface looked darker than usual, not reflective, more like a window into another room. When I leaned closer, I could barely make out movement on the other side, something pacing slowly in the dark. Then a hand pressed against the glass. My hand, except the nails were black, cracked, and the veins underneath the skin pulsed like something alive was crawling through them. I stumbled back, tripping over the chair. The hand didn't disappear. It started to slide downward, leaving faint streaks on the surface. The glass trembled, like something inside was pushing against it. And then I heard my bedroom door creak open behind me. I turned slowly. Nothing there, but the reflection in the mirror wasn't alone anymore. There was a second figure, standing behind my reflected self. Too tall, too still. Its face looked stretched, blurred like static. It leaned close to my reflection's ear and whispered something. Then both turned their heads toward me, perfectly in sync. I ran. Down the stairs, through the rain, out the door. Didn't even stop for my keys or my wallet. At the bus stop, I tried to call the landlady. No answer. So I went back in the morning, hoping daylight would make it feel normal again. The house was empty. Her room, packed, cleaned out, like no one had lived there for months. Only one thing left behind in the hallway. The mirror, but now it faced away from the wall. I couldn't resist. I looked. Inside, the reflection wasn't my face. It was the landlady, standing in her nightgown, eyes open but glassy. Behind her, a tall shadow reached out, placing its hand on her shoulder. Then the reflection smiled at me, my own smile on her face. I didn't realize at first what had happened. The world around me seemed normal, but something deep inside screamed that it was an illusion. I tried to look away from the mirror, but my legs felt rooted to the floor. My heart pounded so loudly I feared someone, or something, could hear it. My breath caught when I heard a faint laugh coming from the glass itself. A laugh that was mine and yet not mine at all. The mirror shivered slightly as if someone inside was taking steps. Shadows inside began moving faster, pressing against the surface as if trying to push me out of the room. A cold wind brushed my back, and I realized the room wasn't empty. I turned slowly and saw my reflection, not just looking at me, but studying every move I made. Its eyes were empty, two deep black voids, and the longer I stared, the stronger the sense grew that this me inside wanted to escape. Then the impossible happened. The reflection raised a hand, and my hand inside the mirror moved independently. It pointed directly at me, then pressed against the glass. A sharp pain shot through my chest, as if something was trying to push me out, to pull me into another world. I stumbled back, but the mirror trembled violently. Scraping, whispering sounds filled the room, and the light around me dimmed. The shadow behind my reflection leaned closer and spoke in my own voice, but the words were strange, alien. "It's your time." The voice pierced my ears, making me clutch my head in agony. Panic consumed me. I grabbed the mirror, hoping to tear it from the wall, but it was impossibly heavy, almost alive. Its surface was sticky, almost like skin. And then I saw it. My reflection was no longer alone. Inside the glass, other faces appeared. Faces of those who had looked into this mirror and never returned. They screamed silently, their eyes pleading. Suddenly, a crack ran through the mirror, not along the edge, but straight down the center, as if something inside was breaking through. I heard a raspy breath, mine and not mine at the same time. And then I understood the terrifying truth. The mirror didn't just reflect, it replaced. It was hunting a new body, a new life to push out the old one. I tried to run, but my legs wouldn't move. In a blind panic, I shouted, pounded the glass, grabbed the edges, but my hands sank inside as if into liquid. Then I felt cold fingers wrap around my wrists from within. My reflection smiled, my perfect mirrored smile, and whispered, "Welcome. Home." Everything went black. When I woke, I wasn't in my bedroom. I was staring from the other side of the glass. The mirror hung quietly in the hallway, reflecting the empty room. Outside, the world looked normal, but inside the mirror, someone, or something, smiled back at me. And it wasn't me. Days passed, but I never left the mirror. I could see the world outside. Hear the rain hitting the roof. Smell coffee brewing downstairs, but I couldn't touch it. My reflection, my replacement, moved freely in my house, living my life, smiling at my friends, answering my phone. Sometimes, late at night, I see it pause in front of the glass, tilting its head as if listening. And then I hear it, faint but clear, my voice, calling from inside, whispering, begging, warning. But no one can hear me, no one sees me. And now, every time I pass another mirror, I see it, my reflection, waiting, watching, smiling. I know it's only a matter of time before it finds me again. And when it does, it won't let go.